Why are you guys so sexy? Why don't you tell us, Avery?
Hutch joined us pretty early on, and that was a big deal. This is part of this rapidly sort of morphing Machinima respawn, and at the time, being brought on board was the penultimate outcome. Like, you were the creme de la creme.
We flew him out, and we set up the first episode with him and Sark. And the idea was that it was like Sark was going to battle Hutch in Call of Duty and Halo and see who comes out as the winner. And Hutch was like he was pretty nervous at the time. It's funny if you go back and watch that episode now, because you could tell he was pretty nervous.
The first time he visited the office, he looked like he was about to crap his pants. He looked absolutely terrified. And I'll be honest, I sort of ran with that a little bit. I was really like large and in charge. I was kind of in his face. I challenged him that day, like 1v1 me in Halo and Call of Duty. We ended up making a video of that.
It was funny because we wanted him to come in the door and be like, you know, the dominating presence, and like he was already pissed at Sark, like right when he walked through the door. And you know, almost like he was playing a bad guy, which Hutch really isn't a bad guy. So at first he wasn't quite comfortable with that, but eventually he was cool with it. He warmed up to it and was just having fun with it.
I feel like we got along pretty well. He sort of played the straight man, which I think is an injustice, because Hutch is hilarious. Hutch cracks me up, but he was so nervous when he came on that he was going to mess it up. That we really had to figure this dynamic out over the period of a few months. So yeah, I feel like Hutch and I have gotten along from day one when he came on board.
When I came down and I first met Sark, it was like so easy to get along with that dude, because like as funny as he is in videos, he's probably 3 times more hilarious in real life. Like, you guys miss all the funny lunch break conversations that I've definitely burned a few calories laughing my ass off with that dude. And he did a good job being like a mentor for me without really coming out and saying it, you know. The way that he approached it made it really, really easy to work with. Because I was fucking terrified, man. Like, I still am terrified of this job from time to time. But when you work with a pro like that who makes people feel comfortable, then it's easy and it's a lot of fun too.
Me, Sark, and Hutch had it down. Like, we come in, they had good chemistry together, and we all vibe off each other. And then Sinaz comes in, and it's kind of, oh man, it's a little awkward. So that took a little getting used to. Sinaz is a great guy, smart guy, funny guy, but yeah, three's a crowd until you work it out.
I think initially everyone was trying to figure out where everyone was, like personality-wise. I think they did a really good job of letting me just be me, and then here and there be like, hey, what do you think about this? And I'd be like, I agree. Like, you know, I think initially it was they were very good about trying to bring me in slowly and not throw me inside a giant social pool, which is nice.
So when we brought Nanners in, that added a whole new dynamic. Obviously, because C. Nanners is out of his mind, as are the Hutch and I. So it added this whole, he's just so different than we were. It added this really fun thing where now C. Nanners became the straight man, and Hutch and I became we were free to act. The bigger the idiots we acted like, the better, and that quickly turned into the dynamic where C. Nanners plays the voice of reason and logic, and Hutch and I play idiots who everyone thinks are on marijuana.
Sark and Hutch were very, I think, more comfortable in front of the camera, even if they say they weren't. They were definitely better versed in that territory. Me, I was very quiet and introverted, so I come on and they're just like, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, whoa, I can't believe you just said that.
That changed over time, though. As Nanners became more and more comfortable, he became more insane. And then, it actually flipped. It turned into like Hutch and me trying to keep Nanners on topic while he quoted Jurassic Park. That was fun. We brought those guys in. Way better than doing it by myself. I will say that.
So you prefer it to keep those guys?
Yeah, it's everything I did at X-Play and early Respawn I did on my own. And there's something to be said for it, but it's also just more fun when you have a couple of buddies.
With Sark lead producing that show, it's like he makes it like really easy to have fun. So we would go on like field shoots and go to like miniature golf, or fucking like go around LA and visit like 35 different landmarks. So it's not too difficult to be comfortable after a while because both of us kind of trusted that he was experienced enough and talented enough to steer that ship in the right direction.
I feel like depending upon, obviously whatever it is that we're doing, if it's really ridiculous, it may be a little bit strange and uncomfortable, but I say that in general, I find myself feeling really comfortable in our personalities and how we mesh and interact with one another. I feel that I'm really glad that over the last almost 2 years now, I guess, that we've been able to sort of learn each other's strengths and weaknesses and likes and dislikes. And I think it's been a really good experience to work with them, and in general I'm very happy with how things have turned out.
At the end of the day, I think one of the mission statements was always part of Respawn was we wanted it to be aspirational, meaning that these kids could see Sark, see Hutch, and think that could be me. I could be this kid who's up there doing this and not have that kind of big distancing that you have, with Hollywood. When you look at someone like a Brad Pitt or whatever, there's that distance of like no one's going to be Brad Pitt, but you certainly could be a Sark or a Hutch because they're just regular guys who happen to love games in a very passionate way, and that's how kids identify, and that's really where you saw the explosion of really Respawn directors. All these kids trying to be Hutch, going out buying capture devices, putting up channels and trying to become successful like those guys because they became in many kind of ways, heroes in that, they were just guys playing in their living room, started doing videos, and then they made careers out of it.
Hutch, Nanners, and Sark, they're just great people, and kids see that, and they like that. We're role models. Sorry to say. Maybe that's a bad thing. I don't know if that's a good thing. We're role models, parents. Then you want to check what your kids are watching at night.
It grew, like it exploded. We launched it in December of '09, and when we came back from break in January, it just exploded.
I just want to make it clear that Respawn is not finished. Like, we're not going anywhere, okay? Just because there's a documentary about Respawn doesn't mean we're going anywhere.
Yeah, so I have a lot of big plans for Respawn this year. I do want to dress it up a bit. I want to raise that production value meter a little bit.